Hi Gemini, welcome to Higher Source Tarot for your June 2020 tarot check. This is for all Gemini, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Thank you so much to all of you who have been watching the readings. I love doing them for you. And thank you for subscribing, commenting, and liking videos. I really appreciate that. I had somebody the other day that dropped a comment that was very positive, and they said, you need more subscribers, and it was really cute. And I said, well, the channel's growing, and it is. It's our collective consciousness. So thanks for sharing in that. If you're new here, again, I love subscribers. If you tap the bell, you'll be notified when new videos are posted, but I generally post every week, okay? So if you don't want the notifications, just check every week, and there's new videos. So let's see what is going on here for Gemini. June 2020, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Now, if reading doesn't resonate, check a different part of your chart, okay? If this is your sun sign, check your Moon, Venus, or Rising. Here we go. Let's see what's going on here for Gemini. June 2020, Gemini. And we've got your current situation here. You've got the Two of Pentacles. It's covered by the Nine of Pentacles. Your destiny here is the King of Swords. In the distant past, you have the Eight of Swords. The more recent past, you've got the Hermit. Coming towards you, you've got the Page of Swords. You're represented here by the Ace of Pentacles. The people around you are the Aries. You've got the Ten of Cups as your hopes. Pentacles. I'm sorry, Ten of Pentacles as your hopes, and the Four of Cups as the outcome. And then I'll just take these two from the bottom. You got the Justice card and the Three of Swords. So you've got an interesting reading here overall. You've got Virgo energy here. You've certainly got Gemini, Aries, and Aquarius represented. You've got not Aries, I'm sorry, Libra. Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. I was looking at the Emperor. You've got Aries here. You do have Earth too. I feel like you have something going on here where you are debating what to do. You're debating if you should leave a situation or stay. And I think it's been going on for a while. It could be work, but it also could be certainly a relationship. I feel like you have new stuff coming in too, though. And there's a part of you that feels some kind of sense of loyalty here that's keeping you around. But I do think ultimately, I think you're having a hard time with it. I think you have new stuff coming in, but you're not completely open to it. So you are represented here, your current situation. You got this Two of Pentacles here, and that is like analysis paralysis. It's very, there's a similar tone to the Eight of Swords that we'll get to in a minute, in that it's a lot of overthinking, but it's also like you've been balancing a lot too. So some of you may be caught in a situation where you're having a hard time making a decision because you have a lot of different plates in the air. It's like I'm seeing one of these acts where they spin plates on a stick, you know that? It reminds me very much of that. And so some of you may be single right now. You've got the single lady card here. That's the Nine of Pentacles. The Nine of Pentacles, though, also is about bringing in wealth, okay? She's in this beautiful garden. She's surrounded by money. So some of you maybe too that you've been very busy with work and bringing in money, and just dealing with a relationship hasn't been something you've really even had time to be dealing with. So if you've had somebody kind of waiting in the wings, they may be getting sick of it. They might be getting a bit sick of waiting on you, or it could be vice versa there too. But she's in a small paradise, so it's not an unhappy card. It's like you're kind of in your own small paradise, and you're getting recognition for it. That's the thing. It's like it's not something you want to stop doing because it's goals. There's goals. It's health, money, luck, solid work. That's what is represented here. So I feel like you're doing this, but I also feel like too your destiny here. You've got this King of Swords. I feel like you're kind of building this. I get like building a legacy or building a dynasty. That's what I'm getting, building a dynasty. And it's like you're not trying to hurt anybody, but you're so focused on this other thing that you just don't have a lot of time for that. For somebody, I see them like videotaping things, and it's like making something, like making a movie or making some kind of advertisement or something. And until that project is done, it's going to be hard to really invite in love or do much of anything else. So some of you may be very focused in the more distant past. You may have felt very stuck in a situation, and some of this could be work related, where you felt like you were in a dead end job, that it wasn't really using your full range of skills and abilities and talents. And you may have left a job where it felt like it just wasn't going forward. And so the 8 in tarot is all about movement, and in this case this is a complete restriction. So again, this is in the distant past. I do feel like you moved away from it, and there's sort of this sense of fear of, I don't want to give this up because I worked hard for this, I worked out of this, and I don't want to go back to that. That's what I get. There's fear of going back to the stagnant energy. So that was an 8. Then you've got a 9 here. You've got the Hermit. This is Virgo energy. And with the Hermit card, this is the more recent past, but it's Spirit telling you you've been on the right path. So moving away from whatever that stagnant thing was, it wasn't going to get any better. If you've second guessed that at all, don't, because you were supposed to move away from it. The Hermit has this, it's like our trusted guide, okay? The Hermit is all about going within, and he's a shaman. So some of you may have done some self-help work where you've started to, read books by spiritual teachers, or maybe you've been listening to Deepak Chopra, or you've been actually have done something with a real life light worker or spiritual guide, and that has given you more clarity. So you go into the upcoming future here. You've got this Page of Swords here. And the Page of Swords is all about communication. So I definitely think you have communication coming in. For some of you, you do have a love interest who's coming in. It certainly may be an Aries that's going to communicate, or it could be somebody from the past here too, Gemini. I don't think it was this 8 of Swords. It doesn't feel like that, but I definitely think you've got communication coming. And it also, too, maybe in regards to this project where you get some information that lets you loosen up a little bit so you can have a more balanced life coming in, because it does feel like a lot of emphasis on one area. So you're definitely making money, though. You've got the Ace of Pentacles. You've got, I think you're going to have a new opportunity with somebody, whether it's, again, somebody from the past, and this person is keeping tabs on you. They may, again, I keep getting this thing about pictures or videotaping or something, so it's possible they're doing some online research on you. That certainly could be. But I definitely feel a new opportunity with money, and this is going to be a profitable outcome. But I also feel like there's a new opportunity with love. Now you've got this person around you is the Emperor, and I'm getting 2 things off of this. One is, whoever you're working for is a bit demanding. They're very structured. They take things seriously. I mean, they're not somebody that's going to be pulling practical jokes at the office. That's just not their style. They know what they want. They're very serious about like a mission statement and doing things the right way and very orderly and things like that. But I also think with love, you've got somebody coming in who's an authority figure. Certainly they could be law enforcement or even a probation officer I'm getting for somebody. So if you know who that is, I think they're very interested in you. They're kind of stoic though. They don't show a lot of emotion. They tend to be the person that everyone kind of depends on and leans on, and they would never tell you that it's too much. They just keep going. They're kind of like this little mule that keeps going, and you can put all kinds of shit on them and they don't buckle. They just keep going. So be aware of that though, because every human has some kind of limitation, and I think that this person takes on a lot of burdens, but it's not a codependent energy. It's not. It's like, because they're strong, they almost have this different set of rules. I work with somebody, and I'm kind of like this too at work. I work with somebody who cries a lot. It's a man, and he's worked with me for over 20 years. And my boss one day was talking to me about him and said, you like your job. You're happy here. It shows. you're tougher. He's emotional, and it's like he's almost the opposite of this person. He almost has a different set of rules than everyone else. It's honestly not really that healthy, but whatever. It's like, okay, we're gonna baby Dave again because he's struggling, and he's really probably just needs to retire, but whatever. I do think that for you though, this is kind of the same thing, only it's a slightly different energy because this person's strong. They're not somebody who's emotional at all. So that may be part of it too, where they almost seem like they're not that interested, but they are. So your hopes here, you've got the wealth card. Again, I do feel like you are very focused on money and bringing in money, and it's solid. You've got the 9 of Pentacles and you've got the 10. So you're on the road to wealth for sure. Whatever this endeavor that you're involved in, it's going to be lucrative, financially lucrative. And I feel it's going to last for a while. I mean, it's going to be, I think, into October even, where you're getting money and seeing more and more money coming in and just feeling more and more confident. But there's a cost to it. I mean, there is. If you don't have balance, there's sort of this unilateral focus is what I'm getting. And it could be for the other person. So if you're interested in somebody, and the storyline is really it's them. I'm going to tell you they have a very one-dimensional focus right now, and it's hard for them to be very balanced and to be much of a partner. It doesn't mean they can't be, but that's something you're going to have to be aware of if you're with somebody who's like that. So overall here, they've got this offer coming in, and again, this may be you or it could be the other person. They're not that interested in it. They're, focused on these other cups, right? They've got 3 cups standing. They're not sure they want a 4th one. So for some of you too, if you have a small business and you've got 3 partners, there might be somebody that tries to come in and join you and you're not too sure you want them joining you because you've got a good thing going and you may not need them either. But I do think in terms of a relationship, if it's somebody that you're dealing with too, they may not be that emotional right now, and you're going to have to decide if that suits you or not. If you're so with this Justice card and the 3 of Swords, this is just really more for clarification. The Justice card to me in this is about you're going to get a payoff. So the work that you do is definitely going to pay off, but my only concern for you is that it could cause some heartache. That you may look back and say, I wish I would have been more balanced. That's the great thing about tarot because they're guidance. So it doesn't mean you have to. You could have the Tower at the end of this and use it as guidance to step around and navigate things so that it doesn't come crashing down. Now, sometimes the tarot or the Tower comes out of nowhere and there's no other way to read it. You have to look at all the cards together. So we're going to introduce a new card. I got these because I love Carolyn Mace. She's a PhD theologist. She's a mystic though. She's really a Reformed Catholic. She's not a religious teacher, but a spiritual one. And she studied Carl Jung's archetypes. And if you're not familiar with those, they're basically our archetypes are what we bring into a relationship. They're how we interrelate with people, our interpersonal relationships, but also on a spiritual level. And so everyone has these. And so we're going to draw one just to kind of clarify. This is interesting. You've got the Storyteller card. So the light attribute is the ability to experience and express life through stories and symbols. Now, for a Gemini, that makes a lot of sense because communication is one of your strengths. This is also a Gemini thing. Shadow attribute is making up tales that harm others. So we have to be careful with that because we don't ever want to say something that we know will have consequences for another person, because when we do that, our biology stores it and it has an impact on our entire life map. So, expressing our experience, very helpful. Making up things that aren't true, not so helpful, right? So you also have, we're going to do this asking it as given card to close things off. It's Abraham Hicks. Every subject is 2 subjects, wanted and not wanted. Every subject is really 2 subjects. There is that which you desire and the lack of it. Often when you believe you are thinking about something that you desire, you are actually thinking about the exact opposite of what you desire. And that's what brings in unwanted stuff. So know that you can have, do, or be anything. You can have it all. You can have the money and you can have a relationship too if that's what you want. It's definitely the energy's here for it. It's just a matter of opening up and allowing it all to come in. So I love you so much, Gemini, and I'll be back again in less than a week.